Welcome to Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, this is a snap keep. We've got Soul Ring, we've got Night's Whisper, we've got Viscera Seer, and we've got lands. So, hey, I will take this. We've got Esper Sentinel. All right. So we're off to a... opponent's off to a good start with that. Good play. All right, so let's go ahead and lead off with... We'll see what we draw into... And then with Esper Sentinel, whenever an opponent casts their first spell, their first non-creature spell, each turn draw a card unless they pay X, where X is Sentinel's power. So we're not going to be able to stop that card advantage. I think I do want to stop that. So let's do this. So let's go and lead off with Polluted Delta, and then we'll go ahead and crack Polluted Delta. I really don't want to give our opponent card draw with the Esper Sentinel out there until we can deal with that. So let's just go ahead and grab ourselves Sulphurous Mire, have that enter the battlefield tapped, and then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. So we're playing Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos. 1 black mana activation, sacrifice a creature, Scry and Scurry for 2 with a little bit of fever. Then for a 3 mana activation, which we'll cover in a second. And let's go ahead and drop in Dragon Skull Summit. Yeah, I like that. All right, so we can go Dragon Skull Summit, and we'll go for Soul Ring, which unfortunately will cut us off the ability. Yeah, we want to get Soul Ring down. And we still want to be able to pay for that Esper Sentinel. So we're going to pay 1. Yes, definitely prevent that. We'll get down Soul Ring. Unfortunately, there's nothing else we can do this turn than anything else. We will pass the turn over to our opponent. Then, yes, with the 3 mana activation, tap, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidetsugu deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. We're playing against Celestial Kirin, and I'll cover that in just a second. And we draw into Thrill of Possibility. Okay, so let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Swamp. And we're going to... I really like going for 2 card draw on this turn. We can go for Hidetsugu if we want to, but I want to get the Night's Whisper going. So let's go for that. So let's go Night's Whisper. And we're going to pay for the 1. Yes, we'll definitely do that. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. And this clears the way for us to go for Thrill of Possibility, too. So let's go and cash in a Thrill of Possibility, because that is the first non-creature spell. Okay, so we're still going to be able to go for this. We're going to discard... I think at this point we'll just get rid of... Actually, I think I'm okay with getting rid of Viscera Seer, because I like having the creature option with Mire. So let's just go ahead and get rid of this... Actually, no, we'll just go ahead and get rid of... We'll get rid of Wooded Foothills. We're okay with that. All right, so we draw into Persistent Specimen, Hero's Downfall. Okay, I like this. And then anything else, pass the turn to our opponent. Playing against Celestial Kirin. Flying, whenever you cast a Spirit or Arcane spell, destroy all permanents with that spell's mana value. Okay, so we've got ourselves a... I think this is the first time I'm playing against that commander, too. All right, so it's going to be Spirit Token on the battlefield, or Human Warrior Token, excuse me. And that drops us down to 32. So at this point... Man, we draw into Warstorm Surge and Mirror March? Yeah, I kind of like doing some setting up on this. So let's drop in Ancient Tomb. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do we want to set this up? Yeah, let's set up a Warstorm Surge. Yeah, I kind of like that. So let's go for Warstorm Surge. Yeah, this is a good way to hopefully start picking apart our opponent's board state. So let's go and pay the 1 for Esper Sentinel. Yes, we will definitely do that. Get down Warstorm Surge, and then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. So give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders if you want to play Magic Online. Let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home with Hidetsugu and the little fire hand, it is officially free time. So let's have some fun. Let's drop in Command Tower. So we do have a sizable threat in a lot of these little creatures out here. That is going to be attacking our life total. So let's drop in Persistent Specimen. I like that. Actually, let's do this first. Let's drop in Viscera Seer. That's going to enter the battlefield with 1. We're going to be able to pop Esper Sentinel. And the good thing about our opponent having a bunch of 1/1s out there is we can just start picking them off. So let's take a Esper Sentinel. I'm going to deal the 1 damage to that one. Oh yeah, this is some good magic right here. Let's get down Persistent Specimen. have that enter the battlefield. Let's take care of Usher. And then that still leaves just enough. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a Mirror March, which I really like setting that up. So let's do that. Let's go Mirror March. It's going to be 1, 2. We took care of Esper Sentinel. That's going to be 1, 2. Before this video started, I was about to say, I don't know how this deck is going to go. But because this deck is really based around getting down Warstorm Surge and getting down Mirror March. And here we are on turn 5 with that down. So I wasn't sure how this was going to work out, but I'm very excited with what we've got going on so far. And so with Hidetsugu, the way it interacts with Mirror March, if we get more copies of it, there's the legendary clause. But at the end of the day, we're still going to get that Warstorm Surge trigger. And so the way I built this deck is, we have a lot of mana rocks in here. I kind of ended up going into this more of an affinity build with Hidetsugu. Destroy target. Oh no, that's going to be Kami of the Ancient Law. Okay, so let's see which one they decide to take care of. They're going to take care of Warstorm Surge. Yeah, that makes sense. That was a bummer. I was hoping that we could chain together some Mirror March Warstorm Surge. But at the end of the day, we've got a lot of mana. We still have a Mirror March on the battlefield, and this is a lot of fun. So let's see if they decide to swing in. All right, they decide not to. Now we do have spot removal in the hand, so let's see what we draw into. If not, we're just going to end up going for Hidetsugu. Vampiric Tutor. Okay, so let's drop in the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Mountain. And let's go Hidetsugu. And unfortunately, we can't go for the activation just yet. So let's get down Hidetsugu. That's going to be 1, 2. And we're going to pay 1 off of Mountain. And so we'll see how lucky we get with the Mirror March. Yes, we're going to flip a coin. We may even miss it. Let's choose Tails on this one. And then we're going to keep the original one. Actually, we can go for the Haste activation. I think we want to keep the original one. We're going to keep the original one. Okay. All right. So, and then let's see. So we've got Vampiric Tutor to set up for next turn. I think what we do on this one is we just pass the turn. We've got Hero's Downfall up and we have Vampiric Tutor up. So let's just kind of leave both of these up and we'll decide exactly what we end up going for with Hidetsugu for next turn, especially with Mirror March out there. So we're going to exile that last little token over there. Yeah, because what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to set up a really nice Mirror March. So what we can do is we can Vampiric Tutor at the end of our turn, put a card on top at the beginning of our upkeep, exile with Hidetsugu. That way we can deal some damage and still get it down, and we still have access to Hero's Downfall. All right, so we've got some good options. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we actually have 8, 9. We've got 9 mana, so we can grab whatever sort of creature we want. The only thing that we've got to kind of factor in mind is that we're going to be paying 3 for an activation, so that really kind of Dusk power 3 or greater. And so that's going to be, unfortunately, that's going to be the crew. Okay, so let's go ahead and sacrifice. We're going to sacrifice Hidetsugu. Yeah, I'm cool with that. So we're going to sacrifice Hidetsugu, send that back to the command zone. And then, yes, we'll return that back to the command zone. Let's get a scry just to see what's on top, just in case we don't have to. We'll definitely put that on the bottom. And that should leave the entire crew out there. So that's going to leave. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it's going to leave a bunch of 1/1s squaring up. We've got the soldier tokens versus the Viscera Seer and Persistent Specimen. Talk about a motley crew of magic creatures squaring up in the universe. So so they decide not to swing in. Let's go and go Vampiric Tutor. Oop, helps if we tap down for black. There we go. And I think what we might end up doing... So if we get a really good Mirror March, our opponent's just going to go for the Kami of the False Hope activation. Prevent all combat that image would be dealt this turn. That still gives us access to something like Wormcoil Engine, which I kind of like going for Wormcoil Engine. Or we can try to set up a Combustible Gear Hulk. And especially if we get multiple copies of Gear Hulk. So we can get multiple copies of Wormcoil Engine. That's going to give us an instant board state, which I do like. Or we can try to go for a lot of damage with Combustible Gear Hulk. I think at this point, we just end up going Wormcoil Engine. I really like this threat. We could get some stuff with, well, let's give Combustible a shot. I kind of like that. Yeah, let's have some fun. We've got an open Mirror March. If we can make that happen, I like it. And we could save Hero's Downfall for their commander. But I think what we want to do is we want to get rid of Kami right now. So let's do that. So let's, just in case we set up a really nice Combustible Gear Hulk turn for next turn, I want to make sure that they don't have the option to sacrifice their way out of a combat step. All right, so they're going to go for the activation in response to that. We got Combustible Gear Hulk on top of our library. Let's hope Let's hope that we end up with a really nice Mirror March. So let's see what's going to happen off of this. All right, so we draw into Combustible Gear Hulk. Let's get Combustible Gear Hulk onto the battlefield. It's going to be 1-2. And I guess, yeah, we'll just go and tap down Ancient Tomb. Just that way we just have access to as much color mana as possible. So let's have Combustible Gear Hulk enter the battlefield. And let's see if we get lucky on these Mirror March triggers. Let's get the Mirror March trigger on the stack first. Let's go for the Combustible Gear Hulk trigger. See if we get the 3 card draw. All right, ooh, I like that. And then let's go for the Mirror March. We're going to choose Tails on this one. Oh, look at that. 2 more. Yeah, this is what we're going for. Okay. All right, so it's going to be some more card draw more than likely. All right, they take some damage. And let's see. And then they take some more damage. Okay, so they drop down to 34. Let's drop in Swamp. Because we can Wheel of Fortune, and we might be able to Affinity into something with Wheel of Fortune. And I think I kind of like that. And actually, let's do this. So let's do Mire. If we Wheel of Fortune, then we lose out on mana. So yeah, let's just do it. Let's just drop in Swamp. And let's go for Wheel of Fortune. So we're going to draw 7 and then discard our 2. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to hit an Affinity Rock right now. And unfortunately, we don't. So let's go and make the land drop. Let's get down Mana Crypt. And then we can seize the spoils. And it's going to be a treasure token. Yeah, let's just go and go for Reassembling Skeleton. I mean, worst things have happened. If we get multiple copies of Reassembling Skeleton, we'll take it. So let's get down Reassembling Skeleton. Let's go for the Mirror March trigger. See how many we get. All right, so we whiff on that one. All right, so let's go to Combat Step. And then with the sacrifice tokens, we're going to be able to sacrifice them with Viscera Seer. So let's go and send the entire crew in. And I think what we'll do is we'll hold back Viscera Seer. There we go. All right, so we're going to send the crew in. We got 1-1, we got 12. That's going to be 13 damage coming across for next turn. I'm just going to drop them down, and then we got the Scry from Viscera Seer. This is what I had in mind when I built this deck. So to see it happening like this, it makes me feel really good. All right, so we drop them down to 22. Let's get the Mirror March trigger on the stack, and then let's go ahead and sacrifice the token. So we're going to sacrifice the Combustible Gear Hulk. That's going to be Scry 1, Scroll Rack. I think what we'll do on that is, I think we're okay with that. We got Seize the Spoils for next turn. Actually, let's put that on the bottom. Let's look for some threats right now. So let's go and sacrifice the other Combustible Gear Hulk. I'd like to find some direct threats. And then put that on the bottom for right now. Sacrifice those, and then anything else. No, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're still in a pretty good spot. You know, we went for the Scry with Viscera Seer. If our opponent does have some sort of board wipe, Wrath of God, something along those lines, what we're going to be able to do is at least sacrifice in response to that. If we run into any of our artifacts, any of our affinity creatures, we can get it down with Mirror March. That's going to be pretty good. Now, you can see what I was going for, Warstorm Surge. So let's say that we have Warstorm Surge on the battlefield. That would have been 18 damage with Warstorm Surge and Mirror March. So pretty nice to see this happening. I've already won mentally in my head, even if we don't win. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with Hidetsugu, is that we're running a lot of mana rocks, so we're running a really high affinity. Ooh, we got Armageddon. Okay. Destroy all lands. All right, so we're going to get the lands destroyed. And we've got Mana Crypt. I mean, we still got a clock on our opponent on this one. We're going to send the whole crew in. Let's go for it. And especially if we run into an affinity creature, we might be able to get it down. So we'll see. So let's see what we get the Mana Crypt trigger. Wasn't expecting an Armageddon on that. So let's go and choose Tails on that one. Won the flip. And see what we draw into. Draw into another Swamp. So let's go and lead off with, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're just going to lead off with Urborg. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. Yeah, Armageddon's not going to do much on that. So anyway, the deck played out perfectly. Unfortunately, we weren't able to set up a Hidetsugu activation, but that's what we're going for. So, let's say that, we have a lot of mana rocks in here. It really wasn't that crazy. That last turn that we could have gone for the Hidetsugu exile, deal that damage, have Combustible Gear Hulk enter the battlefield, have that enter the battlefield Warstorm Surge trigger, then have the Mirror March trigger of getting multiple creatures on the battlefield, amplifying that damage. We probably would have been able to KO our opponent in one hit off of that Combustible Gear Hulk. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.